What's going on, guys? It's Salvajee. I'm back at it again with another Anthem build guide. So make sure that you guys grab some snacks. If you're new around here, I'm going to be going over all of the items that we're going to be using for this build. And on the second part of the video, I'm going to be going over my combat analysis. I just want to let you guys know, my neighbors are being loud as hell. They're like remodeling their house or something like that. Look, I'm sorry for the background noise. I want to put out this video today, so we're going to have to deal with some background noise from time to time. So let's jump straight into the weapons. And when it comes down to the weapons, due to how bad inscriptions are in Anthem currently, I'm just gonna have to say, look, if you guys want, go with the weapons that I chose, or of course go with the weapons that you feel most comfortable with. I also want to drop a really important PSA. Do not waste your masterwork embers crafting masterworks, because you have extremely high chances of getting shit inscriptions, like of course these inscriptions right here. But for the primary weapon, I'm going to be going with Avenging Herald. Now I have this handgun for my primaries because this is going to be the heavy hitter. This is going to be the weapon that's going to be doing some pretty decent damage to shields, and there's pretty much nothing else to it. If you can get weapon damage on the Avenging Herald, magazine size, that's going to be like a really good roll. When it comes down to the Roller's Blaze, the reason why I'm rocking it is because this weapon is basically a primer. If you hit someone 5 times with this weapon, you're going to light them up on fire, which means that you can throw your sticky bomb at them just in case your Venom Darts are on cooldown. Also, I have some pretty decent inscriptions for the Roller's Blaze, which basically makes it somewhat reliable at the Grandmaster 2 levels. So that's why I'm basically rocking the Roller's Blaze. But if you guys want, you guys can also rock the Death from Above marksman rifle. I'm still experimenting with that marksman rifle. I don't know if I'm going to rock it for the final build or not, but hey, you know, it might be a pretty decent option, okay? Like I said, when it comes down to weapons, just go with what you're comfortable with. This is of course what I'm rocking when it comes down to the build. And honestly, that's the only bad thing, guys, about builds in Anthem, is that since we can't really maximize our inscriptions yet, I can't really go super in depth into, you know, the inscriptions that you guys need. But anyways, for the assault launcher, we're going to be going with the Venom Darts, obviously. And the Masterwork Venom Darts gives you an extra charge, which means you're going to have a total of 5 Venom Darts. But of course, as you guys can see right here, I have 100% charges for my Tactical Onslaught, which means I will have 5 Venom Dart charges. And basically, this is just going to give me the ability to spam Venom Darts onto targets so that I can prime them up and of course set them up for a combo with my Sticky Bomb. Now, another thing that I really like about this build is that you're able to use the Venom Darts from a pretty decent range so that you can prime up targets and then your teammates can actually follow up, right? And that's also another point of this build, guys, right? If you're not helping out your teammates, if you're not priming up some targets for your interceptors, you're not going to be maximizing this build. This build is really good for the medium ranges, but of course also excels at the long ranges, if of course you are able to aim those Venom Darts and of course throw those sticky bombs where they belong. So that's why we're basically going with Venom Darts. Also, it is a primer, even though it doesn't say it's a primer. Trust me, it is a primer. When it comes down to the grenade, we're going to be going with the Sticky Bomb. I started off with this Sticky Bomb right here, as you guys can see. Not great inscriptions, but I got a legendary Sticky Bomb, and as you guys can see, it has 200% more charges. So basically this means that I'm going to have a total of 3 Sticky Bombs. So if you guys can get 200% charges on your Sticky Bomb, make sure that you do so. Or if you guys can get 100% charges and maybe like extra damage to your Sticky Bomb, that will also help you out a lot. Anyways, the fact that I have 3 Sticky Bombs basically just means that I'm going to be able to, you know, dish out more damage and of course be more free, I guess you could say, when it comes down to my Sticky Bomb throwing. But I do want to point out, if you only have 1 Sticky Bomb, here's my advice to you: only use the Sticky Grenade when you need to use it on a high priority target. Okay, that made no sense. Only use the Sticky Bomb when you need to use it. Okay, just be resourceful with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you guys understood what I meant. Okay, let's go over the components though. The components, they kind of matter, but they don't really matter that much. There's just specific components that I like to rock, of course, so that I can make this build a little bit better. Tip of the Spear is one of them. Increases the combo damage by 50%, and performing a combo, of course, will restore 40% more health to allies. I usually like to use this when I'm near a storm, just so that I can give the storm some health if of course he actually needs it. On top of all that, this is just really helpful, honestly, if you have people around you, and this build can excel also at the close ranges. And if you're spamming your Venom Darts when you have an Interceptor next to you and you're landing those sticky bombs for you know, that combo damage, you're going to be able to help out, of course, your Interceptor as well, okay? We have Vanguard's badge, increases melee damage by 30%. Sometimes I am going to prime someone up with my melee, because at the time we're making this video, the Ranger melee is a prime, and that's why I basically have this Masterwork component. We have Defensive Bulwark, which is going to be increasing our weapon damage by 25%. This is obviously really important, specifically since we're playing at the Grandmaster 2 level, specifically with this build. Also, when we're on low health, we get 25% more damage, so we can of course melt those shields a bit quicker. We got Victor's Resolve. This is going to be increasing our blast damage by 50%. So basically that means that our Sticky Bomb is going to be doing more blast damage. From my understanding, Sticky Bomb does do blast damage. If I am correct, of course, let me know in the comment sections and I will update the description of the video. Alright, so before you comment, you know, if I am wrong for some reason, which I don't think I am, if I am wrong and you're about to comment, make sure you read the description first. Okay, we have Elemental Ops, increases the fire damage and maximum heat capacity by 20% and fire resistance by 20%. So the only reason why I have this here is because, you know, I am going to be hovering a lot when I'm fighting Enforcers, throwing their Venom Darts at them, throwing their Sticky Bombs, you know, my Sticky Bombs, and of course I want to hover with my Avenging Herald, so that's why I have Elemental Ops right here. And of course I also have General's Favor. Basically, this is going to be increasing our assault launcher recharge by 35%. So that means we're going to be able to get our Venom Darts a bit quicker, and defeating an enemy with melee will increase our mouse 5 damage by 50%. That's something that's rarely going to trigger because I rarely defeat enemies with melee, but I just have that there because like that I can get my Venom Darts a bit quicker. There are better components that you can also rock for this build. However, these are of course the components that I decided to choose. Also, these are, you know, most of the components that, you know, sort of synchronize and make this build, I guess you could say, a little more team focused. That's why I went with those components as well. For the support gear, I'm going to be rocking Bulwark Point, but I absolutely don't recommend this actually because it's kind of, it's not really that good even after the buff. I recommend that you guys use Muster Point because when you activate Muster Point, at least at the time when we're making this video, it increases your damage by 20 per second even after you leave the spear, and on top of all that, it's going to instantly reload your weapon. That is really, really good, guys. That's going to help you out when it comes to doing more damage. I'm not rocking Muster Point, however, because it's not at 38 power level. So now that we broke down the build, now that we broke down the items, let's get into the good stuff, the combat analysis. Let's take a look at this gameplay scenario first. So the boy Firelord Ozai makes a special appearance with some Sozden's Comet firebending, and of course my health goes from 100 to 0 real quick because fire in Anthem is 100% completely balanced, guys, okay? But like I said earlier in the guide, this build specializes at the long ranges, so I'm going to prime up this Enforcer from the long ranges, throw my Sticky Bomb. I actually end up missing, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to set myself up at a medium range. I'm going to prime him up with my Venom Darts, of course, go for the Sticky Bomb. I am going to be getting some health back. This is because of Tip of the Spear. When we land a combo, we're going to be getting 40% of our health back. We also have that component that when we get a triple kill, we're going to be getting 25% of our shields. Look, right here, I'm going to prime up the target. I'm going to land a combo on him, and I'm going to get some health. Now, the Tip of the Spear component says that it's going to heal 40% to your allies, but from my testing from time to time, you do get some health as well. So look, what's this scenario right here? Well, this scenario is just to show you guys how important Ranger movement is when it comes down to this build. I'm going to be using, of course, my movement with the Ranger to, of course, go from left to right and basically just make myself a really hard target to hit when it comes down to this Enforcer, right? You always want to be throwing up your Venom Darts. You always want to be priming up targets. You want to be throwing your Sticky Bomb and then, of course, putting yourself at a safe position. So right here, I see that my teammates are going to be helping me out with this Enforcer. My job is just to prime him up, do some real good damage, and, of course, have my teammates actually take the Enforcer out. Although they actually weren't using any detonators on this Enforcer, it's not really a big deal. But that gameplay scenario right there showcases the importance of movement, as well as, of course, the importance of our components that are, of course, going to help us give it's going to be giving us, I mean, some extra survivability. So let's move on forward to another gameplay scenario. Let's take a look at generic combat scenario number 1. So I always want to go after high priority targets because I have, of course, that high burst damage that the Venom Darts and the Sticky Bomb is going to be able to give me. And that's why 3 charges with the Sticky Bomb is an absolute must for this build, guys. It's going to help you maximize it big time. I'm going to, of course, prime up this target, and then of course throw my sticky bomb at the medium range, which is of course one of the reasons why, again, I really like this build, right? It's just really optimal for, of course, all of the ranges. Now, another thing that you guys are going to be doing a lot with this build is using your advanced ranger movement. Now, again, if you haven't checked out my advanced ranger movement guide, you absolutely need to check it out, because it's going to be teaching, of course, how to move very quickly in the battlefield with the ranger. I'm gonna land a combo on this too, and of course get some of my health back because of the repair pack, and of course also my tip of the spear. And as you guys can see, I'm going to be using my advanced ranger movement to be crossing the battlefield. And guess what? I have spotted another high priority target. So of course, I will focus up on the target with my teammates, always priming him up with the Venom Dart. Every time that I prime him up with the Venom Dart, I'm going to follow it up with a sticky bomb, of course, for that high burst damage. After we detonate the combo, of course, we're going to keep shooting those Venom Darts and again follow it up with a sticky bomb. Like I previously stated, guys, this is what is great about this build, right? You can always be priming up targets with your Venom Darts, and if you have extra charges for your sticky bomb also, you're always going to be able to, of course, land that high burst damage if you have the target primed up. And even if you don't have the target primed up, the sticky bomb still does some pretty decent damage, which is what makes this build also pretty dangerous as well. So far, we have learned that this build has a lot of survivability because of our choice of components. We also learned that the build is really optimal at basically any range. So let's talk about how, of course, we're going to be using positioning to maximize this build, specifically when it comes down to high priority targets. I see that there's a turret right here. I know I have to take it out probably as fast as possible. I'm going to be priming it up every chance I get with my Roller's Blaze. I'm going to be throwing my Venom Darts from time to time, and I'm of course going to be throwing my sticky bomb. My number one priority is of course to take out this turret. Now look, right here guys, my health is pretty low. It's not a big deal though. I'm going to prime up this turret at the medium ranges with my Venom Darts, and then I'm going to follow it up with my sticky bomb. Look at my health, 40% of my health has just returned, which has put me in another safe state where I can easily take care of this turret without of course having to worry about anything else. That's what you guys need to do when you're playing this build with the Ranger. If you guys are really good at leveraging positioning as well as movement and of course ability cooldowns, you're going to be able to constantly be doing a pretty decent amount of damage to your high priority targets, and most importantly, you're also going to be able to stay alive thanks to the tip of the spear and of course the triple kill that you're going to be getting from time to time. That's going to be giving you 25% of your shields. As you guys saw right there, I also use my ultimate. When it comes down to ultimate usage with this build, you guys want to make sure that you're really aggressive with it. You're constantly going to be priming up targets, and your teammates are going to be detonating them, or you are going to be detonating them of course with your sticky bomb, which means that you're going to be getting your ultimate fairly quickly with this build. So make sure that you don't save your ultimate too much for this build, because this build is designed to give you your ultimate fairly quickly. Not as quickly as some of the other builds that I've been testing for the Ranger, which of course I'll be making videos on in the future, but this build is pretty decent when it comes down to ultimate usage. So let's take a look at this last gameplay example right here. So in all of the gameplay examples that I have shown you guys, we have learned how to of course leverage our positioning and movement so that we can do some pretty decent damage with our Venom Dart as well as our sticky bomb. Well, this gameplay example doesn't do any of that. Right here, I just decided to go against the fundamentals of this build, which is of course leveraging movement and positioning so that you can do some pretty decent damage to trash ads or of course high priority targets. And that's why I basically get killed. If you guys want to maximize this build, you guys have to be leveraging movement and positioning. Either be hovering from a safe distance, taking off shields, throwing those Venom Darts and landing those sticky bombs, or of course be very mobile as you are throwing your Venom Darts and landing your sticky bombs. You always want to be moving, and if you don't really want to move too much, always remember that you are at a good position, like I showcased on my turret gameplay example, that is going to let you provide some pretty decent damage. The reality is, guys, this build actually isn't really that hard to actually maximize, which is why I wanted to make this my third build video. This build is really beginner friendly, I guess you could say. Alright, last but not least, if you really enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would drop it a like, and of course subscribe to the Salvajee Cartel for more quality Anthem content as well as some more variety. Guys, a like on the video would be highly appreciated. These videos take time to make, specifically since I also have to really learn the build in an in-depth way so that I can of course explain to you guys how it is that you guys can go about maximizing it. Again, if you're interested on some Anthem content as well as some variety, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and I will be seeing all of you guys on my next video. Peace out and take care.